ISC West is done. Tons of people, hundreds of booths, and my single biggest takeaway is that the industry is still arguing about the wrong things. This and a bunch more we're breaking down today with a special guest. I'm Odess.
I'm Hilary Gallagher, and this is Secured. Okay, so end of ISC West. It's been a long week.
It has.
We've done how many podcast episodes?
I think the number is 45.
Yeah.
In 2 days.
In 2 days, 3 days.
3 days.
We did.
It is 3 days.
40,
yeah, you're right.
We did 45. And that was Lee, by the way, the entire time.
Yeah, it's a crime. But it kind of reminds me in a lot of ways of when we do ACS and a lot, Yeah. At least it's spread over. And sometimes we've done 60 interviews in a single day. So this was fun though. I enjoy it, which is really weird.
Yeah, it's interesting that it was all different companies. No company went twice. So 45 different companies that we asked pretty much all the same questions. And we'll be rolling them out over the course of the next few months, frankly. So
yeah, it's actually it's kind of interesting too. If we think about it, it's turned into, it's the West to East podcast we're doing. It's considered the official podcast of ISC West. On the show floor, we had this sort of end cap, a lot of traffic. People see it. You can definitely see the momentum of the work that we've been doing collectively as an entire team. And what's really great is the response that we're seeing from people that seem to like the fact that we're telling stories. There's a platform for people to get out. And I guess like one of the biggest takeaways that too, I would say to people is that it's open to anybody that wants to. They just have to reach out. Like, don't be shy to go do it. We want to have the conversations. And there was people waiting that wanted to get on board and us do it here. So it's pretty fun. It's, we've been at this, you and I and the team have been at this for quite a while now to see this come to the point that it is. I think it's inevitable of showcasing what's happening in the market. So we're no different than the feeling that people are having what's going on.
Yeah. And thank you to RX for partnering with us on this. Hopefully we do it again next year, bigger, better, and maybe we'll go from 45 to 50. Never know.
I don't know. Maybe you'll do them with me.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll just have to wait and see.
Yes.
So, like we said, busy week. We had a FAST Foundation for Advancing Security Talent board meeting. You had a SIA board meeting. Mm-hmm. We had a breakfast on the Wednesday morning. We called it the FISEC Collective Breakfast that benefited FAST. Thank you to, we had about 15 sponsors. Thank you guys so much all for doing that. We had about 315 people there. It was an awesome turnout.
It is.
At the Bouchon. The plan is for this to be every year. So please keep it on your radar.
Yeah, the first day of the
sponsors. Show. Yeah. Kick it off. Kick it off with our breakfast.
Yep.
What did we have next?
What else we had?
Aliro.
Yeah. We had the Aliro launch that was done. Great buzz on that. Tobin Richardson, he's the CEO of the CSA. And that was everywhere all over the show. We did this thing actually called the Convergence Room where brought together, 55 people were there? Really a collection of a lot of companies, a lot of people. I answered about 10 different questions that they had. And actually the tax companies all the way down to, small couple people. But really it showed there's a definite movement that's happened, and that I don't think we're going to put that thing back in the bottle. And it's pretty impressive to see. So that was a fun thing, to put together and then see it get executed, and everyone seemed to be pretty happy. And if you don't know what Aliro is, highly recommend you taking a look at it. It is definitely as much of a technology thing as much as it is a movement in the direction of our industry, which is around being more open, interoperable, and delivering better user experiences. Yeah, this is not is it going to happen? It's already happened.
And then we had, there were about 1 million evening events. So I don't even know really what to say about those other than... Well,
they're busy.
Great locations.
Great location. You can see people investing more inside of them as well. So the experience for people that are there is tracking it nicely. I'll highlight a couple. Like I know HID's event, which a lot of people like to go to. That was big, and food's good. A lot of good entertainment. Also, we saw AMAG, and they had a nice event as well. Got a little fresh air getting outside on that one. ILOC had an event. Yeah, there's a bunch, like you said. There
Wesco
was which was nice to see. They do that every year, and it's one of those where you walk into and it's like packed. So they're clearly doing something right to get, and the quality of people that are in there. So appreciate Wesco with the invite to do that. But yeah, definitely in the evening, if you don't have anything to do, it's on you. There's plenty to do on that end. Also, we had the digital trust and okay. All right.
That's what I was going to touch on. So there was a session on Thursday, Who Owns Identity Owns the Future, You Decide, that Lee moderated with a couple of speakers. That was a very interesting conversation.
Yeah, the big takeaway was that ultimately it's like the industry doesn't. The idea around it, though, is that we have an opportunity to do something with it. The credential, the experience, we have a level of expertise, but in reality is the identity, is owned by the person. How that is being sent into the different systems, there's a fundamental belief it'll be like mobile driver's license, so like government type stuff. You'll also have big tech. You'll have the, whether it's people at their office, whatever it might be. It's not a case of us owning it. It's a case of us doing something with it from the area of expertise that we have. And I want to thank the team. We had Sal D'Agostino there from ID Machines. You had Bering was on the panel. Secure Passage was on the panel, and our Color ID were there too. So it was really, it actually was one of the easier moderating that I had to do because 4 strong personalities and people expertise, and they kind of took it and ran with it.
Sal also kind of like can easily play the moderator role, so that worked out well.
He does a nice job.
All right. So Lee and I have been chatting throughout the last couple of days, and we're going to flip the script because normally Lee is the one that is asking the questions, but I'm going to ask, what were some takeaways for you? Some trends, some themes that you saw over the last couple of days?
Yeah. So I have 2, and I really tried to think about it, and I wanted to dig a little bit deeper and not just be sort of, technology like, I don't know, mobile or cloud. And so here are my 2. The first one is that we need to stop asking about which one wins. And the story of this comes from is when I was at the AMAG happy hour with you and the team, I was pulled away to go talk to an end user who the first thing that he asked me was like, so is it mobile or cards? Or should I be thinking about, is it cloud or on-prem? And I think these are the conversations that are dominating also every panel, every booth tour that we went through, every happy hour, everything. And they're all the same questions dressed up differently. So in my opinion, which one wins? I think the answer is that's the wrong question. What's actually happening is something more interesting and more important. The industry is moving toward architectures that deliver choice, flexibility, and in some cases, for some of these people, when I'm talking to them, it's like freedom. It's not a feature, it's an architecture, it's modality of choice. And what it means is the customer decides how they want the system to work. And they can change it tomorrow or even by persona. It's up to them. So hybrid deployment means the customer decides where the data lives, where the decisions are made, and how their systems are governed. Products are applied, and they get to change those too as they want. These are not product decisions, they're structural decisions. And you're starting to see the companies that understand that build the difference around it and how they actually implement these systems. And the companies that don't are still trying to win an argument that the market has already moved past. And it's time that we have real conversations that go beyond it. So we need to stop asking the binary questions of, is it mobile card? Is it Aliro? Is it proprietary? Is it cloud or on-prem? And we need to start having the right conversations. So the second one that I have is, and this one was kind of, I was thinking about it, it's like, what are the impacts now where if, we see a lot that's going on the floor around being open and like, what does open mean? In my opinion is that it has a lot to do with the mindset that we're seeing be brought out in products. So in my view, coming out of the show, the mindset is the most disruptive thing that I saw on the show floor. Not necessarily the technology, but the mindset that people now have. And so I'll talk a bit about what I mean there. So open has been the industry's favorite this week. Open credentials, open APIs, open systems. Everyone says it now, even those that are proprietary, you're starting to see that message show up, which is another story for a whole nother time that we'll get into it maybe on another episode, or we'll write a brief about it. But it shows up on every floor that's there, every press release and every slide deck now. So it's like a thing. Like you can't walk the show floor or talk about it and not be a thing. But here's what I saw as I dug into it. The actual disruption is not coming from the technology being open. It's coming from the companies and people deciding to think. It's not the product, but how people are thinking is what's happening. Mind has opened up to the idea that we're going to go do this. And when a customer walks away from a proprietary lock-in they've accepted for 20 years, their mindset changes and there's more to the openness side. So when a sales team stops protecting territory and starts building ecosystems, that's a mindset openness. So none of that requires a new API. None of that required a new standard. It required a decision to let go of things that have always been done and approach them very different. And that's what is happening now. We're seeing old truths die. The proprietary lock-in as a business model being questioned. The installer as the gatekeeper between manufacturers and customers being questioned. The hardware margins as the foundation of the company's value being questioned. And these were the sacred cows of our industry, and they're now dying because a new credential standard has been introduced. They're dying not because of that, but they're dying because the mindset has shifted. And out of everything that Openness brings, and it does bring a lot, the mind shift change is the most consequential in my opinion. So more than any open credential, more than any API, the door isn't just opening for customers, it's opening for the entire industry. And I really think that that is extremely important for us to pay attention to. And it gives permission for our entire industry to do things very different.
Something we did not touch on was the show floor. We didn't talk about booths we saw, things that stood out.
Correct.
What are your thoughts?
So what thought at first you walk in, and I actually had the experience of walking in with two new people. So Haley on our team knew walking in the show floor and kind of seeing it through her eyes. And then also a customer, if you would, of the industry, an end user went in and we did sort of a tour with them. And what was interesting on that end to see was they were like, wow, this is really big. There's like a bunch of more stuff hanging from the ceiling. It was very crowded. But I gotta say, it was like kind of hard to really, like we've been going to this and you and I can like look at the show floor and be like, oh, that's always over there and like that's over there and you can get around easy.
It's like hard to orient yourself.
It really was.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know where things were, like, which I think goes to RX. I'll give them credit. They're investing in the show. They have new areas like the startup section, which was awesome. And we also had the emerging technology, the digital trust, all that stuff, right?
Experience Center.
The Experience Center. So the team at Sage and a bunch of companies doing the experience. So they brought a newness to the show floor. I'll also say, and I think you saw it too, is we saw people even dig even more. Last year, Verkada did a really nice job of an experience. I mean, they took it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, it was wild.
And I heard a lot of people talk about it here. So
Very
I mean,
cool.
what did like? I explained it as this. They got creative, but they also got into the details on it too. So it's hard sometimes to see creativity meet detail oriented. And they really did a nice job of showcasing what you could do to tell the product story and the value creation story. And it's starting to get very obvious between the booths that are doing that and the booths that are not.
Yeah. I also think Acre unveiled some new branding and it showed up in their booth, which was really cool to see.
Yeah.
Looked really nice, looked super sleek. That was nice.
Yeah. No, they got this whole idea around the bridge and it really showed up in the products. And you can kind of see that. And I'll give Andrew over there, they're not just talking about it as like, disparate parts and pieces. They actually showed how it kind of all came together to create that sort of unified platform that everybody is talking about at this point. So that was really nice to see.
Yeah. And outside of specific booths, it's also, I agree, the startups area was super busy, looked really good. The DT&I, I like the fact that there was a separate stage. The DT&I stage was nice.
Yeah. It
was nice to have different conversations back there.
Yeah, it's like a real show.
Yeah.
Like I think that's like one of the big takeaways. Like this looks more like a mainstream market play versus sort of a cottage industry, which was make up like boutique type companies. This is like you walk into this. I mean, it's granted, yeah, is it CES? No, but like I think if you take parts of it, yeah, it 100% is. So I'm excited to see how this continues to evolve. I don't think it's slowing down. Anybody we talk to is like, yeah, this is sort of where everything's moving to our market and people are going to invest more money into it and it's going to get bigger and better every time.
Well, even the fact that there is now what we're talking in right now, the podcast, this wasn't a thing. Having a podcast studio booth right outside the show floor wasn't a thing. So
yeah, it's pretty cool. Actually,
cool.
It's fun. It's fun to see, we're building and we're allowed to build. And it's nice to have a partner like an RX that sees the value that, we're trying to create and they're investing the resources into it to make it happen. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like we're also executing and getting some things done. And the team and everybody is doing like a bang up job, which elevates also. We feel the pressure from people. You got more people going around, some more cameras and people telling stories and the rest of it. So it's sort of collectively, I think it's healthy and good. And everyone should feel real good. As an industry, we should feel real good about where we're at and what's ahead. And it does feel like this is the beginning of what's coming.
Yeah, agreed. All right.
Yeah. I think we're here at the end of, we'll leave it to, we know a lot of people flying home. So get home, get safe. We'll be back next week with another episode. So, stay open, stay curious, and we'll see you all next week.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.